Hello there! Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I've been actively avoiding, and that's killing off characters. Now, anyone who knows me or reads any of my tweets knows that I'm all about killing off characters, or at least gravely injuring them. Bring the violence! So it might surprise you that this isn't really a topic I wanted to cover in my videos. Why's that? Well, for starters, a video about killing fictional people seems a little strange. Like, what if a non-writer stumbles upon this video? They're going to be seriously disturbed. So on that note, here's a disclaimer to everyone on the internet. We're talking about fictionally killing off fictional characters in fictional stories. It's writing, it's all fake. It's tapping your fingers on a keyboard and making words appear. Violent words. I do not condone actual violence in real life in any way. The second reason I was avoiding this topic is because killing off characters is totally subjective. There are so many things to take into consideration, and at the end of the day, it really depends on the story. So who am I to tell you whether or not to kill off a character? But I've been getting this request a lot lately, so I'm gonna unleash my crazy on you, because you asked for it. So I'm gonna go through and answer the most common questions I receive about killing off characters. This is probably gonna get weird. You've been warned. First question. I realize I've written too many unnecessary characters. Should I just kill them off? No. You should just not write unnecessary characters in the first place. A lot of people tell me that they'll prepare a character and they'll be super developed, and then they'll realize later on that the character doesn't serve much of a purpose, so they'll just kill them off. This is just poor planning. Everything in your story should be intentional. Everything should have a purpose. That includes your characters. If you created an unnecessary character, then killing them off isn't a quick way to fix the problem. That person was still totally unnecessary throughout the entirety of their existence in your book. So go back through your story and fucking delete them. It's gonna take a lot of time, but fucking do it. Killing them is the lazy fix. And it's not really a fix at all, because the reader's just gonna be like, why the fuck did I have to read about this asshole if you were just gonna kill him off for no reason? So in short, don't be sloppy. Plan your story and your characters before you start writing the book. That way, unnecessary characters don't show up in the first place. Problem solved. Second question. Should you ever write characters for the sole purpose of killing them off? Yes. This is not the same as killing off unnecessary characters. It's apples and oranges. A character who was created just to die is necessary, because that means their death somehow plays a role in the story. Maybe their death triggers a war or strikes fear into the heart of the protagonist. Maybe it's just scary, and you needed something scary to happen. Whatever. Regardless, this is a totally okay thing to do. In Eve the Awakening, there was one character in particular that I included for the sole purpose of killing. This person's gonna get tortured to death. Fun for everyone. And the reason I did this is because I needed my protagonist to be horrified, and I needed the rest of the world to go crazy over this outrageous death. Did that character get much love and attention from me as their creator? Not really. You don't get love and attention. You're gonna die. Third question. What do you do when you need to kill off a character that you've become emotionally invested in? You switch into your cyborg brain and you turn off your emotions. Duh. Remorse does not compute. Okay, so this one's a little bit easier for me because I'm a horrible human being with a black heart. But every once in a while I do become emotionally attached to characters, so, you know, I get it. Here's the deal. You gotta outline your book ahead of time. If you outline it ahead of time, then you know from the very beginning that that character is gonna die. If you know the character is gonna die, then you have time to distance yourself emotionally from them. Think of it like babysitting a puppy. Everyone loves puppies. Why? Because they're adorable. But if you know that at the end of the week you gotta give that puppy back to its rightful owner, you'll have an easier time letting go of the puppy. You can mentally prepare yourself. You can deaden your heart to that cute little furry face of cuteness. Now I'm just thinking about puppies. It's the same with characters. In the new book I'm currently working on, I've got two characters in particular that I'm really sad about having to kill off. I have to kill one of them today. I'm bummed about one of them because the guy's just a good guy and doesn't deserve to die. The other is because I based his appearance off of a K-pop star that I find super adorable. Don't judge me. And then when I realized, oh no, I like these characters a lot. Oh shit, I have to kill him. I had a moment of mourning and self-loathing. Why are you such an evil murderer, Jenna? What did K-pop ever do to you but bring you joy? But I got over it because it's necessary for the plot of the story. So if you're ever second guessing whether or not you should kill a now beloved character, take a look at your outline. If they really need to die, then they need to die. And remind yourself that their death isn't for nothing. It's for the greater good. of your story. And if none of that helps, then remind yourself that the characters aren't real. You're not really killing them because they were never alive in the first place. They're fake. Totally just crushed your dreams, didn't I? Told you I'm a horrible person. Fourth question, should you ever kill off your protagonist? That totally depends on the story and the genre and a million other things. If you're writing a tragedy, then yeah, death is gonna happen. If you're writing an epic with a bunch of protagonists, Game of Thrones style, then sure, knock a few of them off. But then there are stories where killing off the protagonist is a horrible idea. The first thing that comes to mind is any sort of adventure story. People read adventures because they're fun and inspiring. Adventures make you believe that anything is possible. So if you kill off your protagonist in an adventure, what the fuck? That's just cruel. Not only that, it's bad for business, because you sort of duped your audience. They went into your book expecting a certain kind of story, and you played them, and not in a good way. I would say when it comes to killing off protagonists, you just need to be realistic about the kind of story you're telling. Typically, killing off protagonists in young adult or new adult fiction usually only works if the reader already knows that some element of heartbreak is inevitable. Like if the story is about teens with cancer, I'm pretty sure the reader's aware that someone's gonna die. But if the story's about persevering, or finding yourself, or love conquering all, then killing off your protagonist is gonna go against everything you're trying to say. Follow your dreams! Just kidding, you're gonna die. Basically, you gotta be aware of who your audience is and what message you're trying to convey. Killing off a protagonist is a really tricky thing to do, so make sure you analyze it from all angles. Last question. Do I ever feel emotional about killing off my own characters? To be honest, with the characters I've killed thus far, I haven't really been emotional about it. Many people already know that 2 people die on the very first page of Eve the Awakening. If you didn't know that, well, spoiler, sorry. And a lot of people read it and were like, oh my gosh, that was so intense. It must have been so hard to write. Honestly, not really. I mean, I knew they were going to die. I had zero attachment to them. And it's a little bit different than killing off a character that you've been writing for a while because you eventually develop a connection to them. To be honest, the most difficult part about writing their death was describing the sunset. I hate descriptions. With that said, there are character deaths that I have planned that I'm half anticipating, half dreading. Anticipating because I know readers are gonna be like, what? And dreading because I like these people. But in general, I think the more you connect to a character, the harder it is to kill them. And as of this moment in time, I haven't had to kill a character that I've felt a super deep connection to. But that'll change eventually, so we'll see how emotionally wrecked I am. And if it's any consolation, there have been other non-death related scenes that have left me pretty destroyed after writing them. There's a scene in chapter 6 of Eve the Awakening. It's a flashback from Eve's childhood. I won't go into details, but after I wrote it, I wasn't depressed per se, but I felt like, whoa, that was intense. There was also a scene in chapter 15. It was a very brief but very emotional conversation between 2 characters. That definitely left me depressed. I was just like, why is everyone so sad? Why can't they just be happy? And I'm the reason they're sad. It's my fault. I wrote it. So I spent the rest of the day curled up on the couch listening to Radiohead and hating myself. So there you go. Moral of the story? You gotta do what's best for your book. If that means keeping a character alive, then keep them alive. It's that easy. But if that means killing them off, you know what you have to do. So that's it for today. Subscribe to my channel. I post videos on Wednesdays, and they're not usually as creepy as this one. And as always, if you have any questions, or if there's something you'd like me to talk about in my next video, leave me a comment or tweet me at Jenna Moreci. Bye!